Hello students, Miss Lockhart here. I am very excited for our superhero self-portrait. With this project, you are going to learn how to draw facial proportions correctly. And it's going to look like your face or similar to your face. And you're going to do different types of hair and different types of facial features depending on your own facial features. So do make sure you took a look in the mirror, and if you have a portable mirror, you can keep it nearby. You'll also need a loose white piece of paper. Computer paper works great because it's slightly see-through, a pencil, and a black marker for today. Great. So the very first step is to sketch. Now when I say sketch, I mean start drawing lightly. And you're going to do a little dot at the top, but leave space for the hair. And then you're going to do another little dash mark down below, leaving about a finger's length for the neck, your neck. So now that I have my two dash lines, I'm going to create an oval or an egg. It's really more like an egg shape. The top of our head is going to be wider, and then down close to the bottom where the chin will be, it's going to be a little smaller. And go around with your pencil lightly, creating an oval shape. Now make sure you are leaving space above and below because we do need to add our hair and our neck. And just keep going around until you're happy with your oval shape. And once you're happy with your oval shape, you can then go over it one more time with a darker line so that you can sort of see and designate, okay, I finished my oval, this is the line I have chosen. Go ahead and make a darker line and then darken those little dashes quite a bit. So go over the little dashes over and over and over again until they can't get any darker, but don't put a hole in your paper on accident. Make them darker so that we can do the next step, which is pretty cool. You're going to fold your paper, but be careful, don't fold it anywhere. What you want to do is you want to meet the dash on your chin to the dash on the top of the head. And line up the paper so it's not tilted. Nice and straight, line it up well. And then go ahead and also line up those dots, those little dark marks you made, and fold it just in the middle where your face is. You can fold the whole piece in if you want, doesn't really matter, but you only need the fold line inside the oval that you made. This fold line is where our eyes are going to go. So I'm going to show you again. This is the technique we'll be using for the rest of the drawing. So I really want you to understand. You're going to meet up the two dark lines, those little marks we made. Very first step. You meet them, and then you fold it where in the middle of those two lines, which is just like this. So you meet it up again. You can kind of see how I do it here on my paper because you can sort of see through the paper. But if you can't see, just listen very closely and make sure you line up the two dark marks and then fold once they're lined up. And that fold line is where our eyes are going to go. And that is actually proportionally correct. Your eyes are in the middle of your head. Okay, so now I'm going to do a curve for the top of the eye, for both eyes. Now I'm sketching because I need to make sure that they're in the middle, and I need to make sure the space between the eyes isn't too big like it was just a second ago. So I'm going to bring the eyes a little closer together. You see how I'm bringing them in a little bit because that space between needs to be about the same length as the eye. So the place between the eye needs to be about the same length as the eyes. So that's a good way to measure. If the space between your eyes is itsy bitsy tiny, it's too small, you'll know. If it's really wide, it'll look kind of silly. So go ahead and make sure that space is about the same length as the eye. And you can use your finger if you want. You can put your finger down on the eye and kind of measure it with your finger. It's probably about half of your thumb size. I don't know. And then you can use that same part on your thumb to measure in the middle. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going over my oval. I'm trying to make sure it's symmetrical, the same on both sides. And that's why we are using a pencil and eraser, because we are not going to draw a perfectly symmetrical oval or eyes. We're not a computer, but we're going to try our best. So don't even worry if it's not perfect, but do try to make it symmetrical, like a butterfly, the same on both sides. So erase, add lines where you think you need them until you feel about right. You feel good about your oval. And now I'm going to go over my eye line and make it a little bit darker so I can see it well. And I'm also designating those shapes and deciding, okay, these are my eye shapes. I'm going to do my dark line. Now, a little curve at the top for an eyelid. Go ahead and do that. It's another curve for eyelids on both sides. And now a circle inside the eye shape. You always want this circle to touch the top eyelid. It doesn't have to touch the bottom eyelid, but it does have to touch the top. Okay, so now that we did those larger circles, do smaller, dark circles inside, which are your pupils. And we're actually going to want those to be quite dark, because that's going to help us with our next fold, where we have to see through the paper. Okay, so I'm liking my eyes. You can pause the video if you want to keep working on your eyes. So, see that little dark mark here? We're going to meet it to that fold line right there, and which is also in the same spot as our pupil. So you can look for those dark pupil circles to help you figure out where to fold it correctly. So I'm lining it up right now, trying to be really careful. You can kind of see through my paper from the video. Now it's lined up right there on the fold, which is the same space, same line as the pupil line, and I'm folding it just inside the oval, so the middle of the paper. Now we've made our line here for the nose. Now to do a nose, you want to do a curved line that's sort of upside down, I guess you could say, like a U, and then do a C on the left and a D on the right. It's just a curve on the left and a curve on the right. Now you might change your nose depending on what your nose looks like. You can go look in the mirror and pause the video and take a look. Now we're going to meet the chin to the nose, the dark line. So I made the nose a little darker so I could really see through my paper. I'm going to meet my chin to it. Same way as before. Look for the dark lines and meet them. Make sure the page is lined up nice and straight, and then fold your paper. If your paper you're folding is not lined up straight, like if it's tilted, the fold line is going to be at a diagonal. So you want your fold line to be horizontal, straight, left to right. Now for the mouth, do your bottom lip. So it's a curve that's going up because you're smiling probably. You can go look in the mirror if you want your lips to look a little different, if your lips look different than mine. So you do a curve and then a curve above it. And then for the top lip, there is another little tiny curve. It's the very middle of your top lip. Again, you may look in the mirror and see yours might be different than mine. And I'm going to connect that little curve to the left and right side of my lips and my mouth to connect it. So now I have a top lip and a bottom lip. That is what you need to do as well. Great. For the ears. So I love this technique because these fold lines just make everything so nice for us. You create an ear from the fold line of the eye to the fold line of the nose. And you do a larger curve at the top and a smaller curve at the bottom. Okay, it's my favorite part, hair time. Now, take a good look. I'm bringing this long piece of hair above the head because your hair actually comes up above the crown of your head. Now, stop right here because you might not have the same hairstyle as this person. I did long curved bangs to show you. Now I'm going to show you bangs that come down over the forehead. I'm just doing some zigzag lines. So hold off until you see your hairstyle. Boys, I'm coming to your hairstyle in just a second. We have a few different guy hairstyles that I'm going to show you too, and girls. So girls, you've got your bangs version here, and then like I showed you before, you've got your parted long bangs, which was the first thing I did. Now make sure you do have your hair come above the top of the head. Do you see how I did that? Look at that, the top of our egg shape on our head, and my hair is above that. It goes over it. Please make sure you do that. Now I'm filling in with the type of hair I have, which is kind of wavy, curly, longer hair. You may wait just a second to see some other hairstyles, and don't forget the neck as well. So here I have some boy hairstyles where I do some zigzag bangs, and look, I go over the crown of the head. Okay, now you can change that to look more like yours. And notice how I erased the top line of the head. Now let's take a look at some other hairstyles for boys and girls. Here's some short wavy hair that we'll do in just a moment. Some short curly hair we'll do in just a moment. And longer straight hair, or those could be braids if you add some pattern. Okay, so let's start with that short wavy hair. Now I did those curved lines over the forehead, and I'm going over the crown of the head. Don't forget. And now I'm going to show you the curly hair. So I'm jumping into those little curly lines. You can practice doing curly lines. It's really fun. and then fill in the space between the forehead and the crown of the head. Now I went over the crown of the head with the curly hair, just like before, and I put a little bit behind the ears. And now for the longer straight or braided hair. So you see I did the 2 curved lines to create a part on the forehead, and then I went above the head and did curved lines, and I'm adding some texture. I also made a bun on top with a spiral line. Okay, now let's go ahead and make our shoulders and our neck. Now your neck doesn't need to be too skinny or too wide, and do a curve right below your neck as the top of your superhero costume. Okay, now below the curve you can do like an emblem, but let me fix my shoulders. I want them to be a little higher up, and I want my neckline to be a little higher too. That'll give me some more room for an emblem for my superhero if I have my neck line a little higher. Okay. So I'm going to erase the lines I don't want. And this is probably what you'll do too. You might sketch your neck and see, oh, that's a little small or a little wide, and you can change it depending on what size your neck is. Now remember, your neck holds your whole head, so it can't be too skinny. And then your shoulder lines are just curved lines that go off the left and right side of the page from your neck. Okay, so I'm happy with my neckline and my shoulders and my top of my uniform curve at my neck. Okay, it's time for our mask. Now your mask can look a little different. Follow the basic steps, which is a curved line right in the middle on either side of your eyes. And then another curved line facing the other direction above your nose. And now bring that curved line out to the right side of your face. And then the top curved line, bring it also on the right side of your face. You'll see here in the picture what I mean exactly. And now the left top of the mask, bring it to the left part of your head. And then again on the bottom part where the nose curve is, bring it all the way over to the left side of the face. And now you have a fun superhero mask. Cool. That's pretty much it for the sketch, except I want to add an emblem and a cape to my superhero. Your emblem can be a different shape. You don't even need one if you don't want one. You can also skip the cape part if you don't want to do that. Now my emblem is going to be sort of like a geometric shape. I'm going to do an angle here at the top. It's going to be, let's see, I'm going to bring it down so it's got some points and angles. You can't see the whole emblem because it's cut off because of the size of the paper, but that's totally fine. You can still kind of recognize that it's a superhero emblem. Now I'm going to give it like a border, so I'm putting little dots where my angles were, and then I'm connecting the dots so that it looks like it sort of has a border. My emblem has a border to it. Now yours can be a circle, a diamond, it can be anything. Maybe it's like the letter of your name, your first name, whatever you would like. And again, it's optional. And so is the mask. You don't have to be a superhero with a mask. If you'd rather not, you can skip that, and you'll have to do eyebrows though. All right, so for the cape, what I've done is I brought my shoulders down, and then that original shoulder line I'm using as a cape, and then I'm doing a curved line in the back like the cape is flying in the wind. So they're curved lines that kind of connect to a point in the back, coming off your shoulders. Okay, so now I'm just going to work on my hair and sort of tidy up any details that I would like. The next step is all about tracing with a Sharpie, and you'll see I've sped up the video. Please be careful when you trace because these lines are going to be permanent, even if you're just using a black marker. So go slower than I'm going. Just trace over all your pencil lines and then erase your pencil. And that might take you a little more time, but that is our goal for today, is to finish our drawing and trace it and erase the pencil lines as best as you can. And definitely take another look in that mirror and see how can you make your face look more like your face. I hope you had fun with our self-portraits, our superhero portraits. Thank you for following along. Hold on to your drawing so that we can finish it next week. Bye, everyone.